So I don't know if you've ever actually tried to work with your mind. If you've tried meditation, you'll have made an attempt. But if you have, you'll probably know that even trying to concentrate on the breath or develop loving kindness in your mind towards yourself or someone else is a bit harder than you think. Sometimes it's easy, isn't it, to even come into a meditation room. There's someone even leading the meditation for you. They'll ring all the bells, and you can sometimes spend the whole meditation sitting there thinking about all sorts of other things. It can be quite difficult to control your mind, which can be rather humbling, isn't it? Can't it? Because just a while ago we were talking about wanting to move towards this higher vision in our life. We were saying that, yeah, we really do want to commit to becoming more aware, more loving, more generous, and so forth. But then when you try and do it, it's pretty difficult, or it can be. It's very difficult to remember, at least. So there you go. What do you do about that? You've got this ideal on the one hand, and you've made a genuine, wholehearted attempt to try and practice the teachings, to try and work on your mind, to try and change your life. But it's very difficult. So what do you do with that? How do you deal with that? You don't want to get into thinking, oh, well, it's not for me. This vision of a more creative life is not for me. I'm not going to do it. That's not going to help. And also, I would suggest it's not so good even to get into thinking of yourself as a failure, because you're not. So how do we approach this problem of trying to work with our minds, trying to expand our consciousness, trying to move towards something larger, more meaningful? How do we do that and deal with the fact that we will probably fail? And fail several times. In fact, it could even fail for several decades. But anyway, leaving that aside, how do we deal with our own limitations that keep habitually manifesting in our lives, even though our intentions are good and wholehearted? Well, what we do in Buddhism, what you do in the puja, there's a special stage in the puja, is you confess your limitations. And what you're doing in that stage is you're basically saying, you're basically recognizing, yes, I do have ideals in my life. Yes, I do want to change. I do want to transform my mind. Yes, I have given it a go. And yes, I have failed. What we're doing in confession, it's called confession, is just having a clear acknowledgement of what we're like. Yes, I am like this. I have this habit in my mind. I have this tendency in my life. Even though my motivations are good and wholehearted, I keep getting caught up in reactivity. I keep getting anxious, even though I want to be calm. I keep getting frustrated, even though I want to be friendly. I keep getting greedy, even though I want to be content, and so forth. So what we do in this stage is wholeheartedly acknowledge, yeah, this is what I'm like. I am trying to grow, I am trying to develop, but this is what I'm like. And I keep forgetting about that. I keep forgetting about that ideal. And my habitual tendencies, my reactivity just keeps reasserting itself. So we're trying to see ourselves without guilt, without shame, with a clear understanding of what we're like, so we can acknowledge that even though we have high ideals, it's not always easy to move towards them. And then we can move on. So we don't want to burden ourselves down heavily with self-condemnation. What we're trying to do is just acknowledge who we are and what we're like, and make a movement towards change in the future. But another thing that we will notice is that, well, sometimes other people can do it. So sometimes you see, oh, someone else is being unreactive in that situation. Someone else is able to be generous in that situation. And rather than getting self-righteous over that, or comparing ourselves unfavorably. What we want to do is just rejoice in other people's efforts, because we know how hard it is. And when you see someone else doing it, well, you just think, well done to them. So another stage in this puja, or this process, is, first of all, acknowledging our own limitations and our own tendencies, but rejoicing in the beneficial activity that you can see others doing, and you know how hard it is to do that, so you can really rejoice in them.